Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new Let's Play on Pillars of Eternity. It's been a long time coming, actually. I've wanted to do this since I played Tyranny, but all those times, all like years ago, that then my computer, was being really horrid, causing a lot of issues. So I, just scrapped the entire idea. And, well, recently I've been wanting to, obviously, as you guys know, I used to have 6 videos and it was 4, then it was like 3, then it's like 1. I let myself get into a slump, and a few personal, I started work, so I've started also getting other shit. So basically loads of personal shit started, and now I'm trying to get back into my Let's Playing groove, so I'm going to play some Pillars of Eternity. Nothing like an RPG to really kick you in the ass when, especially when you're really shit at it. I've played 4 hours, ladies and gentlemen, of this game. 4 hours. Every single one of those hours have inched in pain. So, to begin with, I'm going to admit something very, 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 very bad. I've not got past the, I've got to the first village in the game, and that's about where I've stopped every single time. No clue why, I never got further than that. So, we're going to be playing on easy for a while, until I'm used to the game, because like I said, I haven't played Tyranny recently either, so I haven't played Tyranny since I Let's Played it, so really, I need the easy mode, and I will turn it up to normal when I'm ready. So let's go. We'll get straight into the game. Let's not hold back. Let's just get in. Let's get the backstory heard. Let's figure out what the fuck's going on. Let's see what we can do. I'm gonna mute myself while the intro stuff starts. So I'll see you guys when we get to somewhere I need to talk. Okay, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, this
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
all right. So, we're going to go no further tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's, ooh, mysterious. A lot of you have probably played this game, but again, I am quite blind, like I said. I'm very blind. I'm blind to the story. There we go. So anyway, so in the character creation, we've got quite a lot to go through, and it's going to take me probably the rest of the part to get through it, because I've got to... I'm trying to build some backstory of a character. So we've got a character that isn't just I've created a character that's going to go forward doing nothing. I'm going to try and get a character that's got some backstory, and then we can roleplay a little bit. So let's say we're going to be making a male. I don't really play with a female main character just because I don't see a reason to. Male and female, it doesn't really matter. Now we're going to be playing as a Godlike, because Godlikes are so cool. And from what I've seen, they have the best bonuses. Like, humans all, the sub-races of human all have the same bonuses. The, Asuma? Yeah. Oh no, Aumau. I can't say that, fuck. When I hear someone say it, I'll say it. They're like the tanky buff race, which I wasn't really going for that type of class. The dwarves are just, again, more of like the might class, but with a lack of dexterity in addition. Elves are like the dexterity class, or dexterity race. Aldwyn is, I would say these are very good mage classes, but that's just my, like, one I know of the game. And Godlike are the, like, roguish, like, casters. So, I may change my mind, actually, but I was thinking of going probably for something like a fire. I think it was a fire Godlike. We get battle force when we are below 50% health, 50% endurance. Fire Godlike glow in the metal-like forge, gaining damage reduction and doing a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee. Something that early on is going to be very useful, and later on, especially with my class, could be very useful as well. So for now, we're going to go for this. Again, like I said, this part, probably next part, is going to be an entire character creation, backstory, and building, and just basically probably doing the first little part. Now, I'm probably going to play a Cypher, which is a... I'm going to... Actually, you know what? Let's go back to Fire Godlike. So I'm going to read all this, because I am probably going to play a Godlike of some sort. The Godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, though some do not consider it a blessing. These aspects may take many forms, and often come with mystical powers. Apparent head shapes are typical, and Godlikes are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Very obvious. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, Godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. The Fire Godlike. The bodies of Fire Godlike often resemble hot metal, burnt wood, or stone, with harmless flames that erupt from the cracks in their skin. Fire Godlikes are object of both reverence and fear in the Deadfire archipelago. Many locals believe they have the power to awaken volcanoes, or that killing one will cause a volcano to awaken. In the Drywood, Fire Godlikes are often seen as a sign of blessing of Magraine, the goddess of war and fire. And Battleforge, as we've said, so let's move on. So yeah, we're going to be... so this is really just the body type that you take over, so you could be a... The only one you can't be is the really, really small people, and I don't know why that is. I actually don't know why. I know they're technically a Kith race, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so this class I was picking... Now, I've played, like I said, like 4 hours. One of those hours has actually been me just looking at every single class and figuring out what I like. Now... I do know you can recruit adventurers in this, so I'll probably try and live vicariously through them if I'm not too happy with being a Cypher. I'll probably have one extra, like always have one adventurer I've made myself alongside my main character, and then 4 other characters who are in the story. I don't know who they are, but we'll figure that out later. And I'll probably have one character who will play as the class I wanted to play as the second amount, which is probably going to be a Paladin. So we're probably going to have a Paladin on our team along with a Cypher. I do like a Rogue as well, but I mean, early on, Rogues are very good from what I've seen, from what I know of the early game, like the early first hour in. They're typically, in my opinion, probably the easiest way to get through it. Cyphers are a little bit too. They don't seem to do as much damage as you'd like to do, even though they are a striker class. I mean, the Chanters looks pretty cool. I mean, to be fair, every class looks really cool. Like Monks look really cool. Like, I don't know what it is, but monks just seem really cool. So I'll probably have a monk in my character. I'll probably have a monk in here somewhere, but I'm going to be playing as a Cypher. I know I can't change this later, and it's a really big decision. But if I don't like playing as a Cypher, I'll just play for it in my own time as well. Anyway, a recent discovery in the Eastern Reach. Cyphers were once called Aldwyn Mind Hunters by the Glanfahans. I can't actually say that. I apologize. Cyphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche, using an ally's or enemy essence as the focus for their magic. Though most Cyphers are still found in the Eastern Reach, practitioners of the techniques have spread throughout the known world. They are gaining acceptance over time. But are generally distrusted, especially by the undead. Or educated. Undead, yes. Fuck the undead. Anyway, so the starting powers. So we have power. Cyphers can directly target allies and enemies with powerful soul-focused effects. These powers cost focus, which Cyphers build through the use of their Soul Whip. Soul Whip being basically something that is a passive for our basic attack, so it's not something we need to worry about. But anyway, so we're going to be playing as a Cypher. Now these are the abilities we can actually have straight away. So we've got the Antipathic Field. Antipathic Field. Creates a toxic physical manifestation of the mutual antipathy between the Cypher and the enemy target. Enemies caught in the path between the two will suffer corrosive damage. So basically, this is an ability that you need a third party for, and then you shoot it at the third party, and you position yourself so the second party is between you and the third, and that way you do damage to him, and it's actually really good. I can't lie, that's a really good one. We've then got Eye Strike. Shocks an enemy's visual receptors, dazing and blinding them, as well as blinding nearby targets. Pretty simple. It's just a simple blind. We've got Mind Wave. Target becomes the object of a corrosive blast of psychic energy, suffering raw damage from the trauma. Characters in a conical area behind the target, failing a fortitude check, are knocked prone from the blast. So basically, this one is a crowd control ability. Like I was saying, these guys are strikers and crowd control. I don't know if I mentioned they were crowd control, but they are. I've done a lot of, like I said, I've done quite a bit of reading up on trying to figure out what classes I like. So yeah, this is a very crowd control ability. Obviously, it does raw damage to the specific target you choose. But then everyone behind them are not. You're able to control them if they fail the fortitude check. Soul Shock. Briefly transform the outer shell of an allied target soul into energy, releasing an electrical burst around them. Characters standing in the area around the target take shock damage. So I will read all these later, but I'm only going to be doing that for like places that are like places of interest. Like I should have done for the fire, but we'll do that later. Don't worry, we've got culture to go through, so it's fine. Tenuous Grasp assails the target's grasp on reality, frightens and confusing them. So pretty simple. Whisper of Treason imparts a bedeviling secret to an enemy that causes its allegiance to bend, charming them for the duration. So it's 10 focus, very speed. Out of these abilities, I think Soul Shock and Mind Wave are the early ones I would go for, because I would like to immediately start doing some damage and trying to help myself. This one, yeah, I don't know if you can cast this on yourself, it'll be good, but let's hope. Now, ability-wise, we definitely need at least an intellect of 19. Sorry, we'll go 19. Might is going to be our main attack, and then we'll get some dexterity. I'm going to leave my other stuff pretty much untouched. But dexterity is going to be the lowest because I'm going to go for the heavy hand. Basically, I'm going to be a dual-wielding guy. Because it's been a two-handed guy. I normally go dual wield, sword and shield. I hardly ever stick to the the brute force approach. So this is where our culture comes from. We could be from the Idir Empire, the Deadfire Archipelago, the Ixtamil Plains, Old Villalia, Rautai, the Living Lands, or the White That Wends. As you can see, every single one of them has a different weapon choice. I normally just pick one from my weapon choice, but for this time, I'm actually going to read the stories out, and I'm going to basically pick one that I think would fit the backstory of the guy I'm going for. Now, I'll give you a little hint. The backstory we're going for is someone who is an outcast. Someone who is being kicked out of their place because of their godly appearance. I was going to say ungodly, but that makes that we have a godly appearance, so they kicked us out. So anyway, the Idir Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. The empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world. Greater Idir is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven nations. The Deadfire Archipelago, consisting of the nation of Nastgak, dozens of Amura settlements, and hundreds of lawless pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern sea. Deadfire is home to boreal dwarves, Amua, and a mixed variety of races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monstrous sea creatures infest the ocean beyond, making travel virtually impossible. The Ixtamil Plains, located to the northeast of Glanfaith. The Ixtamil Plains are Ixamitil, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, are a large expanse of the fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by human and Orlean residents. The Ixtamil culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out a little over the past several thousand years. So they get a spear, that's pretty cool. Old Villalia, once a crown jewel of the southern seas. Old Villalia is now the crumbled remains of an empire of warring merchant nations, counting many human and dwarves among the ranks. The Old Villalian counties are still forces to be reckoned with, and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. That's where we get a parry and dagger and a rapier. Rutai, dominated by the Amura nations of Rutai, The Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them are all-in or dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the East. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. The Living Lands. The Living Lands is the mountainous region of a large northern island renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable and its ecosystems vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races in a variety of colonial and independent settlements. The White That Wends, a large, cracked southern expanse of polar ice. The White That Wends is a home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the White, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon others to survive. Well, as you can see, they also give different places. Now, the Living Land would give us extra might, which is would be very useful. So one thing, so I can actually get 20 intelligence if I go with Old Valalia. But I'm actually not going to. I'm going to go with, I am actually going to go with this extra might to get the 16 might. So we're going to be from the Living Lands. Not really my choice. I normally go Adia. So we'll go for the Living Land. Now we're going to be it'll have to be Drifter out of those. I thought there was an Outcast one, but no, there's... well, let's read them. Colonist. You are part of a group that founded the fledgling colony in distant land. Drifter. You never quite fit in no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place for rest before briefly moving on to the next. You're more comfortable on the road, travelling the world. Okay, that's not really right either. Explorer, you find the siren call of the horizon irresistible. You cannot help but wonder what lies beyond the next hill or wave, and you've built your life around finding out. Hunter, you will live for the thrill of the chase, whether for glory or sustenance. You have made your living taking the lives of wild creatures. Labourer, your life has been spent in the study of your craft. You have trained and prepared, hoping to hone your skills and apply your trade. Mercenary. Blade and battle is your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapon and applying force. Merchant. You've traded goods from all over the world, pairing items with buyers of all kinds. And Scientist. The rules that govern the world are a set of alchemic formula to you, waiting to be discovered and manipulated. Out of all those, actually, I do this a lot, but Mercenary seems the most... Well, actually, no, from the Living Land, I think Hunter would go very well with the backstory of being from the Living Land. Probably going to try and abandon my Outcast one then. So I thought there was an Outcast rank, but apparently there isn't. So we're going to go with Hunter, and we'll try and build something around that. Now... oh yeah, let's pick our head first. Oh yeah, I forgot. They don't have any cool look. You know, this is the coolest looking head, I think. That looks just hilarious. I'm going to go with this one because this looks edgy. Right, so for the fire ones, they have edgy as bollocks, creepy as bollocks, or... That's not even... I don't even think that's a fire one. Hang on a minute. I'm pretty sure that was only 2 fire ones. I'm just gonna... I apologize if you can hear my mouse clicking. And then there's the female ones, so... Wait a minute. Yep, they have literally the same face. One's just a pale, one's not. That's fair. Yeah, so we have the death ones. We have normal death, and then we have nature. Yeah, I don't think that's fire, so I'm just going to go with this one because it doesn't seem to be any. And my normal colors are, of course, black and red. Like, but I'm going to go black and white for a change. That's like, yes, for a change. Actually, no, we'll go black and grey for a change. So, let's pick a voice.
Yes, follow me. Let's go.
I think Stoic works. Now we need a name. Now, I was going to pick an Adarian name, but apparently now I need to change quite a bit. So, well, you know what? We're going to pick an Adarian name anyway. So, where is it? There we go. We're going to be called Aldwyn. After, obviously, Skyrim. More than anything, Skyrim, obviously. So, I'm going to press accept, and we're going to get into the game. So, we are a male Fire Goklike who's a cipher from the Living Lands. He was a hunter. And we'll say that our hunt brought us... We may have hunted something we shouldn't have. We'll see. Well, we can build one around what we've known. But let's get into the game. We'll do the first part, and then we'll save the game. And well, we'll get into the first part until we can save, and then we'll do the rest in the next part. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods toward a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Adomir looks over his shoulder at his assistant, a lanky, intense man named Bartow, who carries an old sun-belched bow. After speaking, he nods in your direction. Spanfil nods and slides the worn bow over his shoulder. So what do I want to say? Where would I find these berries?
They grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
What are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
Who did build the ruins?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Is it dangerous out here?
Not if you hurry about your business, and not if the weather holds up.
There is concern in his tone, but he does not elaborate. What kind of weather did they get out here?
This time of year? Rain, mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beowick, born out of the ether. The spirit's path. Never seen it myself. Never care to.
What are these huge rocks coming up out of the ground?
They don't got Adra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
I'll go see about those berries then.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eye at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the journey nights sleeping on an uneven ground without a blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up on her own time.
He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her, you're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything.
Adama chuckles and shakes his head. He looks at you. He casts a long, sideward glance back at her after speaking.
Off with you. Hayadin should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Bewick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Right. I know about all that. So let's I'm gonna move myself over here, and we're gonna well,
Anyone need supplies?
ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to end this part here. So we've got Kalisha and ourselves, Aldwyn, and yeah, we're ready for the fight. I'll see you guys next part. See you guys then.